Something that has come up in recent times with a number of my clients, and I just thought I would share it with you today and to kind of give you kind of an idea of how I approach it and a suggestion about how I approach it. And the issue is that for many people, I'm hearing them saying, listen, I've so much to get done. I've got so many meetings, I've wall to wall meetings. I've got people coming at me. I've got emails. I've got people dropping into me. I've got all sorts of stuff. I end up at the end of the week and I feel, God, I just haven't progressed the things that I really need to progress. And it just becomes a kind of a constant frustration. And of course, then the kind of the tension builds and we begin to feel overwhelmed. And when we get overwhelmed, then we don't know what to do next. So it just becomes this vicious circle. So I thought that I would share with you what I've worked through with a number of my clients to really help people to reduce the overwhelm. Because when we think about it, I'm a great believer in the Warren Buffett principle, where he says that, in any business, there are probably only kind of 5 or 6 things that you need to have in your dashboard. And if you keep all of those moving forward, the chances are you're going to have a pretty successful business. And I kind of believe if it's good enough for Warren Buffett, then it's probably good enough for me, and it's probably good enough for most of my clients as well. So it really is working on that principle. But what we find is that it is the kind of the nitty gritty daily stuff and the meetings that tend to trip us up. And at the end of the year, what we're going to be judged on is, have we actually achieved the objectives that we set for ourselves or that were set for us, or have we actually achieved those? And and that's what we're going to be judged on. As simple as that. We set goals for ourselves, and that's what we judge ourselves on, but we get frustrated when the stuff isn't getting done. And I think that it's as much a kind of a mindset, but also there's kind of a process to it. And one of the big challenges I think facing people in organizations today and people who run their own businesses is the things that you say no to, because you really have to get a lot more disciplined about the things that you say no to, because it's too easy to say yes to everything. And if you say yes to everything, then you're going to get caught up in this kind of whirl of busyness, but not actually getting anything done. So when I'm working with the clients, I'm a great believer, and it's been well advocated by people other than myself, is to kind of work in 90, 100-day chunks. And I do work in 90-day chunks. I'm a great believer in what other people have advocated in terms of the effectiveness, but purely from a personal perspective, it really kind of works for me, because with the best one in the world, if we're sitting, in January, the first month of a year, and you say to me, I've got to deliver something, by the end of that year, mentally, I kind of go, well, there's loads of time, right? So there's a little bit of procrastination. I can put it off and feel that I've buckets of time to actually achieve that. But if we're sitting here in January, and I either said for myself or it said for me that I've got to deliver something by the end of March, by the end of the first 90-day cycle, well, then you've kind of got my attention, and I'm going to make sure that I do something with that. So it creates an urgency with it. And I'm a great believer if we can actually really kind of focus in on 90-day chunks. And then we have a process to review at the end of 90 days. I'm not going to go through that today, but there is a process to go through and review your 90-day plan and then set off for your next 90 days. Because with the best one in the world, you set a plan out for 12 months. But, it's a bit like, no plan, as the boxers will say, no plan kind of follows on from the first punch that you get in the first round. And so everything goes out the window. So we got to remember that things change, and that, you need to adjust and, maybe stop doing something, start doing this, start doing more of this, start doing less of this, and have a refocus, or an opportunity comes up and you've got to identify, is that opportunity more valid than what you already had in the plan? So I think 90 days is a really good rhythm to get into. And I think it really helps then to actually put some shape on the overall year, and that you're managing that in a very proactive way. However, that doesn't help if you're talking about the kind of the day to day. So I just want to share with you something that I use. And if I can find it now as I'm talking about it, yes, there we are. So what I have here is a very simple and straightforward tool that I use to really, really manage my goals and make sure that I'm actually delivering them in 90 days, but I'm also doing that on a week by week basis. So if you look at the template, what you've got from left to right, is that, I would look, the period would be the 90 days, whatever period of 90 days that I'm looking at. And then I write down what the annual goals are. So the annual goals go in the left-hand column. Then beside that, I put down what the 90-day deliverables are. So what am I actually going to deliver of those annual goals? What am I going to deliver in those 90 days? And then I kind of put a tick in it, whether it's month 1, month 2, month 3 of that 90-day period. So I've got the annual goal, I've got the 90-day deliverables, and I've got the month 1, month 2, and month 3. And then in that second last column on the right-hand side, I've got dependencies. So I'll put in there things that I need. So I might need somebody else to deliver something to me in order to ensure that I can deliver on my own goal. So I really worked through making sure that I've highlighted all of the dependencies that I need to identify in order to achieve the goals in that 90 days as much as I possibly can. So that's looking at it. If you look at it from the annual goals, the 90-day deliverables, month 1, month 2, month 3, and then the dependencies. And then the last column is, you see over that, I've got the week. So what I do is at the beginning of the week, I write down what are the priority actions that I need to deliver that week in order to progress the annual goal and the 90-day deliverable. So I capture everything that I need to do that week, or that I intend doing that week. And I capture that, and I work down through that, through each annual goal and each 90-day deliverable. And perhaps in that 90-day deliverable, I'm doing nothing about that particular annual goal, and that's fine if that's the case. But if I am, then I've captured where I'm going to do it and what action I'm going to take if there is an action to be taken that week. What I do once I've done that, so now I've actually captured all of the actions I'm going to take this week in order to progress the 90-day deliverables, which are also going to progress the annual goals. But then I do a little bit of a kind of a check on myself and say, okay, well, if I look at the priority actions, I look and say what I'm going to do in the next week, I do a little bit of a kind of a reality check with it and kind of see, well, will I actually get all of that done? And, I look at my calendar, and then I will see, what are the meetings? Where am I going to be? What is the time I'm going to have? So will I actually really be? So it's a little bit of a reality check to make sure that I'm not setting myself up for failing. So I actually would then decide, okay, well, based on the time that I have, I'm going to prioritize this. So I may knock out 1 or 2 of those things, but I end up then with a very, very clear list of actions and tasks that I'm going to undertake that week. That's going to ensure that I am moving my 90-day deliverables forward. The next piece is absolutely critical to this. And I think that, do this actually gives you great clarity, but then to actually make sure it happens, you have to really go and put that in your schedule. So it's about time boxing. It's about putting it in your calendar. So I will decide, okay, if this is a particular action I'm going to take to progress the 90-day goal, I'm going to do that between 10 and 11 o'clock on Tuesday morning. The next one I'm going to do between 2 and 3 on Wednesday afternoon, etc., and continuing on. These are your priority actions. These are not everything that you're going to do in the week. These are the priority actions. They're the big rocks, as the late great Stephen Covey used to say. So these are the big things that you're going to do. Don't try and capture every single thing, like I've got to collect the dry cleaning on Tuesday, or I've got to book in my car for service. That's not what this is for. This is actually just making sure that the big things, the big rocks, are being progressed, and you're ensuring, and you've found a space for them in your calendar. And when you look through and see whether you can't find a space, well, then you've got to make a decision. Do I drop it, or do I actually change something in order to find a space? But the time boxing is absolutely critical. So I would suggest, if anybody is looking to get this template, you can send me an email at john@johnmurphyinternational.com, and I will share this with you. But it is very, very simple, but very, very powerful system of making sure that you are moving forward and delivering on the main goals that you have, and the main objectives and the main deliverables that you have committed to. The fact of the matter is that no matter, how long the week is, if we could stretch the week, stretch the day, whatever it might be, we'd never get everything done. So it's always about, prioritizing. It's always about the 80-20 rule. So what are the things that I need to do, that I absolutely need to do in order to progress it, and making sure that you're keeping your annual goals, your 90-day goals, they're front of mind, they're right in front of you. You're assessing those every single week. You're planning out the actions that you're going to take that week, and then you're time boxing them into your calendar. And that really is a system that will it guarantee that you get everything done? No, it won't, because you've got to actually discipline yourself to do that. But it certainly gives you an extremely good chance of getting the things done. So really, this is all about, being effective at what you're doing. And effectiveness is, making sure that you're doing the right things and that you're actually getting the right things done. And not to be accused with efficiency, because we can be very efficient at doing stuff that we don't need to do. But this is about being effective. And it's also knowing that you're progressing your annual goals, you're progressing your 90-day goals, and that for the week, you have found a space in your schedule to ensure that you are going to progress those. And you've got to guard that schedule. You've got to guard the schedule. Be in control of your own schedule. You've got to drive it, and you've got to make sure that you own it. So you've got a responsibility for guarding your own schedule. If you do this, I really, really guarantee you it will help you enormously. It will reduce stress, and it will ensure that you're progressing your goals as you need to do, week in, week out. And it's all about doing small amounts of things on a consistent basis, because that is actually what delivers. It's not about the grand gestures. It's not about the big things. It's about doing the right things on a consistent and a continuous basis. And this is what this is all about. So if you want to get listen to more podcasts where I interview some guests and I do something like this on my own, then go to the site, www.johnmurphyinternational.com. Again, I say to you, if you would like to get a copy of that template, just send me an email at john@johnmurphyinternational.com, and we will send it on to you, and be delighted to do that. And if anybody wants to engage in a conversation to really help them to be much more effective at what they're doing, then I am delighted to do that. So hope this was helpful. Hope this was enjoyable, and I will talk to you real soon.